Hello and welcome to this special mini-series for International Development Week. Each day we'll be looking at different areas of our work to give you an update about how the pandemic have affected these and what changes we might see in the future.
Well, hi Ben. So it seems the tables have turned and I'm going to be interviewing you for this special podcast episode. So I have two questions for you today. The first one is, how has COVID impacted the work of the Salvation Army International Development UK?
Thanks, Hayley. Yeah, it's always more frightening being on this side of the microphone. But yeah, how has COVID affected our work? In lots of ways. Obviously, there's been a really big shift of focus to emergency response around COVID. So that's been really the focus of where our funds and energy has been in the last 18 months or so as we've been trying to support territories. But also it's been looking at our existing programs, so food security, anti-trafficking, clean water programs, which have been active and going on and then hit by COVID. So it's looking at those programs and working out how to adapt and absorb some of that impact. So all sorts of things like looking at how flexible our budgets are, how we can retain staff members throughout, what available funding we have to be able to keep those programs going, looking at the activities which have had to slow down because some of our project coordinators and managers haven't been able to get out and about as they would normally because of the lockdowns. So it's looking at the really kind of nitty gritty things of our programs and working out how we can sustain that throughout the time. The other thing about our programs is a good look at what we would call resilience within our programs, and to look at, what makes a resilient program and what makes our projects be able to absorb some of the impacts that we don't expect, such as a pandemic. I don't think any of us was expecting such a huge kind of widespread, pandemic coming along. So, going forward, I think this is something that we've really got to take a look at in terms of what contingencies and resilience are built in and designed into the way that we work through our programs with our Salvation Army partners around the world to be able to cope with things and changes along the way.
So looking ahead to life post-COVID, whenever that might be, what will change for international development and the team going forward?
So one of the big changes for us as a team here in the UK is no travel. We haven't been able to get out to the territories that we're supporting. And that's changed the way that we work, for sure. That's made us rely much more on technology. But it's also maybe changed a bit of a mindset in the sense that we have been in touch much closer and more regularly with our project managers and project coordinators who are working amongst the communities that we're partnering with, and ensuring that they have connectivity and are in touch with us, so we kind of understand what's happening on a day-to-day basis, rather than just relying on these, once every 6 months or once a year, these monitoring trips that has been usual in the development sector. So that's certainly changed the way that we kind of work on a day-to-day, week-to-week basis. And I think that will be a long-term change going forward. And obviously there is the change that we work here now. We're not coming into THQ so much, we're working remotely as a team, which makes us much more flexible, much more able to work more in line with other time zones with countries that we're working in. And also, I think, rely less on sending UK staff out to do things like capture video and capture images, or exploring new ways of being able to do that, with finding photographers in country and finding people who can capture some of the essence of the stories and the conversations of what's going on around the programs that we're working with, to be able to bring that information back, so then we can tell our supporters where their money is going and the impact that it's having on people's lives.
Thanks, Ben. Yeah, it's been an interesting process, and I think it's going to be exciting to explore some opportunities that technology allows us that we probably wouldn't have explored otherwise. I'll hand back the reins of presenting this podcast back to you.
Thanks, Hayley. You make a natural podcast host. I think you should do it from now on. As always, you can find out more information on our website. Follow the links in the information we've posted on this episode. We're on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Follow and subscribe for news of upcoming episodes. Thanks for listening.